Hi everyone, my name is Ashley with Posh DIY Crochet Patterns. Today's video is this really cute miniature pumpkin. So I'm calling this the Posh's Little Minis, little miniature pumpkin. It's very tiny and cute. I made the stem with air dry clay. And at the end of this tutorial, I will show you how I made the stem. I want to give you all a closer look. This pattern is very different, but this is a beginner pattern. So a beginner can follow along and make this crochet pattern. It's a very easy pattern. The stitch combination, it's not commonly used, and I don't know why, because it makes like this really cool, unique pattern, and I'm really excited to show it to you all. And to make this really cute little mini, all you need is a small amount of category 4 weight yarn. This yarn here, this is Pound of Love by Lion Brand, and it is a medium 4 weight acrylic yarn in pumpkin spice. And I picked this yarn up at Joann's. This yarn's actually really hard to find this time of year, so I would go ahead and grab it now. You don't want to wait until next month because they'll be all sold out. And we will need scissors. And we are going to be using a smaller hook than the recommended hook size for the yarn. So I would recommend using either a 3.0 millimeter hook or a 3.125 millimeter hook or a 3.5 millimeter hook. And for this pattern here, I used, if I can get that to a 3.125 millimeter hook, a D3 3.125 millimeter crochet hook. And you will need a yarn needle if you want to create these pumpkin swells, these impressions of the pumpkin bulges. You will need a yarn needle for that. For the stem, you will need a very, very small amount of air dry clay, about a thumbnail size or a grape size, just a very small amount. And there's a closer look at that cute little stem there. And to stuff your pumpkin, you will need just a small little handful of some polyfill. You don't necessarily have to use polyfill, but that's just what I am using for my pumpkin. And also to glue on the stem, just any type of super glue. I like using the E6000. It dries very fast. It's very thick. It's very, very good for lots of arts and crafts. And for clay, I'm using Sculptly Air Dry Modeling Clay. And you only need about that much to make your stem. Just a very small amount. I also want to let you all know that the free written pattern for this pumpkin is on my blog spot at poshdiycrochetpatterns.blogspot.com. And there's also a few other free written patterns for pumpkins as well. And this is definitely a beginner pattern. So to begin, we will make a slip knot. And you can do this either two ways. You can make this pumpkin working side to side to form a rectangle that we will fold and seam up, which is definitely a easier way than working in the round. But you can make this pumpkin without these pumpkin bulges. These bulges right here that you see, that come out right here. So say you want to make this pumpkin just a ball without these swells. And in order to do that, I would recommend working in the round, because if we work this in a flat panel rectangle and we fold up the sides and seam it up, it will create like this slice, like for the bulge, it will create that. So if you just want to make this without these slices, then I would work in the round. But if you do like these slices and these swells that are created on the pumpkin, then I would work that from side to side. So if you are going to work it from side to side, you will need to chain 32. And if you are going to work in the round, then you will need to chain 31. And for this tutorial, I will be working side to side. So I'm going to chain 32. And 32. And we have very small, tight chains. And the second chain from our hook, which is right here, this is our first chain, this is our second chain. We are going to turn it, and we are going to go into this back bump here. And if it's easier for you to go into the front of the chain, then I would do so. So our first stitch will be one single crochet. In the next chain, in the back bump, we will make 1 double crochet. And that will be our repeat pattern. So in the next chain, in that back bump, we will make 1 single crochet. In our next chain, in the back bump, we will make 1 double crochet. We're going to repeat this all the way across. The next chain will be a single crochet. My next chain will be a double crochet. And this pattern here has become one of my favorites. This creates such a unique, neat design. You will be so shocked. You will be so shocked just what a single crochet and a double crochet can make. And I'm just going to do this all the way across until I finish that last chain, that last stitch. I want to show you all, this is what our work will look like after we complete row 1. I know it doesn't look like much, but after you repeat this over and over and over, it will create a zigzag design, and you will love it. You will absolutely love it. I've never seen anything like it before. I was just playing around and I was like, this is so neat. And when you fold this up, it makes this really, really unique design here on this pumpkin. I love it. I absolutely love it. See if we can get a better look. I love it. I do, I do. So what we will do is we will chain 1 and turn. And if you're working in the round, you will just slip stitch join at the end and chain 1 to prepare for the next row. But for us, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And as you see on the back, it's got this really neat design here where these double crochets are bulging out the back. And this is going to be super neat. So in our very first chain here, right there, our very first chain, we're going to make 1 single crochet. We are going to repeat row 1. So in this next chain right here, we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into that stitch. And make a double crochet. And we will repeat that all the way around. I mean, all the way, all the way around if you're working in the round, but all the way until the end for us. So I have my single crochet. So my next stitch is 1 double crochet. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. Next stitch, 1 double crochet. And that is our pattern repeat for each row. Very simple. So 1 row repeat. And I will meet you all back at the very end for the last stitch. And then your last stitch will be a single crochet in that last chain. So each row you will start with a single crochet and you will end with a single crochet. So for row 3, we'll chain 1 and we will turn and we will repeat the pattern in the same chain, 1 single crochet, in the next chain, 1 double crochet. Next chain, 1 single crochet. Next chain, 1 double crochet. And if you want, I will meet you back at the end of row 3. Just continue single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, all the way until the end. I wanted to show you all real quick, after you work this pattern over and over and over, it will create this pattern right here. Look at that. Isn't this neat? Do you see how it zigzags as it goes up? Let's see. I had made this for Scott. I wanted to make him something nice to lay on his dresser. And look at that. That's what this pattern is right here for this pumpkin. It's just that we're making it so tight so that when we stuff it, it won't show any gaps. But if you was to use, say, the recommended hook size for your yarn, this is what it would look like. right here. Isn't that lovely? I was trying to develop a stitch that looked more manly for Scott, and this is what I came up with. So I just wanted to give you all a look at that, so you all can just visually see what this pattern is going to look like once you're finished. So this is rows 1, 2, and 3. It's hard to see the zigzag effect just yet, but you will be completing a total of 10 rows. So you will make a rectangle, and then we will fold the sides together, seam it up, and go from there. So go ahead and complete your rectangular panel. Just keep repeating the pattern. Chain 1 and turn, 1 single crochet in the very first chain, and then 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, and you should end on a single crochet. And I will meet you all back after we complete the 10 rows. So here's our rectangle. It's very small for this miniature pumpkin. I completed 10 rows, and as you see, this is the zigzag rocky road pattern. That's what I named it. I thought it was a pretty good name for it. It kind of reminds me of like a path, you know, a zigzag path. So I'm naming it the Rocky Road. I like it. And the back side is identical. So there we go. There is our rectangular panel. Now all we need to do is take our sides, fold them together, and stitch that up. We can either slip stitch or we can whip stitch. Either way. But this yarn tail here, I want close to 24 inches. So we need to measure out a 24-inch yarn tail. And we will also need our yarn needle. And also, you don't necessarily have to have a ruler to measure out the 24 inches. And if you do not have a ruler, from the inside of my elbow to the tips where my fingers begin is 12 inches. So if you do not have a ruler, you can do the same thing. You can just measure from the starts right here of your bottom of your fingers to your elbow and measure that twice if you do not have a ruler. So what we will do is we will grab that 24-inch yarn tail and pull it through that loop and pull that tight. And you can slip stitch this if you'd like, or you can just sew it up any way you like, as long as you sew up those sides together. So we worked it from side to side, and these two sides you will fold together and stitch together. So now we need to do is thread our yarn needle. So I'm just going to go in just like this. And whip stitch this closed. And I'm going to do that all the way until the end. I've whip stitched this closed. You can either turn this inside out if you like, so that side is not showing. And as you see, it gives this indentation here. This yarn tail, we'll just tuck that on the inside here. Now all we need to do is we are going to weave this in and out of these front loops to close this up. We're just going to push that to the side as we go along. So we're just going into those front loops, the loop that's closest to us. And we're going to do this all the way around. Just like that, all the way around until the end. So I have closed up my bottom. I have a little hole there. I'm going to go in and across. And then in and across and back out the other side. Kind of like an X. And that closes that right up. So now we have to do is stuff our pumpkin, so that yarn tail we'll just leave that in there unless you want to clip it. We're just going to stuff a little stuffing into this pumpkin. And I definitely want to stuff it tight, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Now what we will do is take that yarn tail and go through that center. We're going to go straight through our pumpkin and out the top. Oops. So now we will repeat the same process on the top here. So we're just going to go in. You can go into both the loops if you'd like, or just the front. I'm just pulling it and giving a little tug. By me pushing that down, it kind of cinches it. And I'm just going to go all the way around, just like I did the bottom. See? And the reason why I'm cinching it down after I thread through that front loop is because it'll be hard to pull it and cinch all that up if I weave it in and out, and then pull at the end. It could possibly rip my yarn. So that is why I'm doing it like this. So I'm just going to go all the way around. So I just finished going all the way around. So that's my little pumpkin so far. You can leave it like that. That looks perfectly fine. Just like that. Or you can take this yarn tail and wrap it around. Let's see. It looks like right here is where we whip stitched it closed. So I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to go right across that. And back through that center hole. And straight through there. Just like that. And pull that. And it pulls that in to create the swells. So, and I'm just going to pinch, I'm just going to hold that. Let you all get a good look. So you just need to decide how many swells you want. This pumpkin right here has 7. And I like it like this. I like it with 7 or even more. Actually, I could have made, I think, 9 swells. So I came out the top here and I'm just going to pinch and hold, and then I'm just going to wrap it right here. So I'm going to go back in and through the top here. and squeeze, and then pinch. And then, let's see, that would look good right about there, I think. We're gonna go right through that center again and back out through the top by my thumb. Yeah, about right there is good. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I think the camera's trying to focus in on that instead of what I'm actually doing. There we go. And I'm just gonna pull. And then I'm gonna go back around right here and back through that center and up by my thumb. Place that right about there. And then pull. I don't want that twisting on me. And then pull. Look at that. Isn't that looking good so far? I'm going to go right about here. Go back in to that center. And then pull. This one actually is getting squeezed down a lot more than I did the other one. I think I should have stuffed it more. So this one will be a little squished down a little bit more than the other one, but that's okay because I really didn't want two complete identical pumpkins. I like them when they look different. I'm just going to squeeze that. Go back around. Center here. Oops. Let's see. Now I have one more. And don't worry, when you make your stem, that'll cover it up, or you can use this side, whichever side you want to use as your top. But I am going to show you how to make the clay stem. And I'm just weaving that in and out through that stuffing in the center so it will hold. And that's good. That is good. Oh, I like that. I love the way that looks. Love it. And then I just clip it. So you can use this side or this side, either way. So now next step is make our stem. So grab your clay and I will meet you back in just a moment. Okay, so I'm just using some wax paper, and this is about maybe a little bit bigger than a grape size, but I want to make sure I have enough. So we just want to work this, I guess you would call it dough or clay. Just work that really good. And this needs some water. See how that's breaking? I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. So I just poured a drop of water onto my wax paper. And then I'm just going to knead it together, just mixing that water through the clay. I'm going to take my ring off. Pinch that. Look at that. That's simple. And I want it to fit right in there. And that looks pretty perfect. Now this one here, I haven't glued this on yet, so I'm just going to pull that out. I didn't want to shock you because I just pulled that out. But if you look, you'll see that this stem is a little different at the bottom. And that is because of the grooves here. It looks like a Y. So it goes like this and this. So what I did was I pinched. I pinched right here, pinched here, and there. So this one looks pretty wide. So that looks like that would fit good right there. But what I did was I pinched is what I did. Also, what you can do is you can either take a razor, or this is a loom hook, and you can go around. You can put little jaggedies in it, because believe it or not, it's going to make it more realistic. I'm just putting water at the tip. And that's good. Let's see, might try to smooth some of that out. Don't want that piece breaking off. And I'm just going to lay that down to dry. And then tomorrow, by tomorrow morning, just let it dry overnight. By tomorrow morning, it'll be ready to paint. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to put that back. I need to glue that on there. I just wanted to show you all what that looked like, but I do have another one that I created that I can glue onto here. Just like that. And that's all you have to do. So just let that dry overnight, paint it. Oh, and the colors I used. So, zoom in on this. Okay, so what I did was my first base color was like a peach. And I just did that as a base color because this is white. So I used a peach color. I painted the whole thing peach. I let that dry. Then I took very light browns, very dark browns, and I just swiped it all over it with all different shades of brown. And then I used like a mustard color, and I added the mustard color, smeared it in with the brown. I let that dry, and then I used an olive color. So my last coat was, if you look, it's kind of got like a little bit of a green tint. It gives it that more real look, which this white stuff is this powdery clay. But my last coat was I didn't cover the whole thing in the green. I just swiped a little bit of the green, you know, all over it in different spots. Isn't that neat? Now we got to do is put some super glue and then glue it right on. And there you go. So that's all you have to do to make your posh little mini pumpkin. So thank you all for joining me. I want to give you all a side look at those pumpkins right there. Isn't that neat? So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all very, very soon with some more fall and Christmas patterns. And don't forget, this written pattern for these pumpkins are on my blog at poshdiycrochetpatterns.blogspot.com. See you all soon. Bye-bye.